Ay. Otra vez. Come here. Let me say something. I remember Tampa, the way she used to be, the places we would run to, the faces we would see. Yes, I remember Tampa, those precious memories, a city rising on the move, a simple yet progressive groove. I remember Tampa, and she remembers me. Yeah. She remembers me.
Off on the show.
Welcome to the Tampa Native Show. Stay tuned now for the fastest 60 minutes in cable broadcast history. Live from the studios at TBCN, the home of the Tampa Native Show. Join your hosts, Mario Nunez, the 15-Minute Girl, and Steve Canella, as they celebrate growing up in Tampa. From Shock Armstrong to Shakey's Pizza, from Braddock Street to Buffalo Avenue. Get ready to call in and tell us your stories, because sharing your memories has never been this much fun. And now, Mario Nunez, the 15-Minute Girl, and Steve Canella.
She remembers me.
Thursday night at 7 o'clock. Man, we're excited to be back with you right here live from the studios of TBCN. Alongside Steve Canella and Sally Nunez, I'm Mario Nunez. And this is the Tampa Native Show. Guys, we're ready.
It's going to be a fun evening tonight.
It's going to be a great evening.
Yes.
And an early kickoff to an amazing weekend, capping off Saturday afternoon. We'll tell you a little bit more about that in just a couple of minutes. Hey, you know what the theme of this week's show is, right, Steve?
Right. It's pet shops and Tampa Native pets.
This week we had the occasion to talk to the son of a former pet shop owner. And I tell you what, how lucky are we, man? Because you know what, we put out something on Facebook. Thank goodness Mr. Zuckerberg is not charging us for Facebook.
So true.
Because
Yes.
he
That's
had
right.
That could happen.
Yeah, but he had us at hello, and we're still enjoying that platform, that connectivity and that social media platform for absolutely nothing. But we reached out this week and said, hey, does anybody out there? And of course, we heard from one of our Tampa Natives fans, Harry Leto. He said, Mario, you know, I used to work at Petland right there on Kennedy Boulevard. I worked there for about 8 years, and I know the family that owned that real well. So he put us in touch with Henry Cardoso, who's a Plant High School grad, class of 1970. Henry was gracious enough to send us some information, and hopefully he's looking in on us tonight from Orlando, and he'll call in as well.
How cool.
So we've got lots and lots and lots to talk about tonight. If you, growing up in Tampa, and you know, it doesn't necessarily mean you had to grow up in Tampa, although, yeah, it kind of does. We're looking for those stories from our Tampa Natives Show fans.
Right.
What was the neighborhood pet store? The neighborhood
tropical fish place, right?
Fish store, where you went to get the supplies for your family pet. And of course, tell us a little bit about the pet that you had. And you know, not everybody, it wasn't just dogs, it wasn't just cats. Some people had exotics. Some people kept snakes.
That's true.
I don't understand why that. Some people had tarantulas.
tarantulas?
I never did.
Turtles were pretty popular back in those
Turtles.
days.
Yeah,
Popular.
the little green pet turtles.
Pet turtles
The
were
little
real
plastic,
popular. Plastic little
island.
island thing with the little
with the palm
plastic
tree.
palm tree.
Yeah.
And the little stinky turtles.
Stinky turtles for sure.
And
did smell.
hamsters were popular.
Oh, yeah.
And gerbils, I guess some people had those. And even little
Parakeets?
little white mice, birds, parakeets, lovebirds, finches. I mean, if you know, ran the gamut. So we want to hear from you tonight. We're getting ready in just a few minutes to load the phones. Tell us your story, where you grew up, your neighborhood pet store, and if you knew something specific about that pet store, we want to hear about that as well. Happy birthdays right up at the top of the show, because that's what we do here on the Tampa Native Show. Former employee and someone who I was very fond of while I was flying. She was an amazing purser. She always kept our crew working together in unison. Ducky O'Donnell, if you're out there in Texas watching us, and I can't imagine why you wouldn't be. Happy birthday, Ducky. We both kind of left the airlines. Ducky's career went back a little bit further than mine, but boy, she was a lot of fun to work with.
Great name, Ducky.
Ducky O'Donnell. Thank you, Linda. Linda's her proper name, Ducky, but we knew her as Ducky. And Everett Montiel, who's probably watching us in Orlando right now.
Hey,
Everett,
happy birthday.
Big E, happy birthday to you as well, man. We love all of our fans, no matter where they are. And Everett's been living, I guess, in Orlando for a while now. But Tampa roots, Plant High School grad. So Everett, happy birthday to you. And yesterday, just yesterday, Steve, Tampa native show fan.
Special Tampa native.
Amazing sponsor of the Tampa Native Show, and arguably one of our biggest fans, PJ Testa. Philip Testa, class of 1965, I believe it is, Chamberlain High School. PJ, happy birthday.
Happy
We know
birthday.
you're out there enjoying, we're traveling this week, enjoying your birthday, so we wanted to take the opportunity to wish you happy birthday.
Ardent fan.
Oh, tremendous fan, tremendous fan.
Absolutely.
Generous to a fault.
Yes, he's a
Generous to a
wonderful
fault.
man.
We love that guy. Last Saturday, we had the opportunity, 15-Minute Girl and I, to go to, where did we go last Saturday? During the day, darling.
During the day, where did we go?
Woof.
Oh, Woof Fest 14.
Woofstock. I think it was Woofstock.
14.
Woofstock, Woof
Yes,
Fest.
thanks for that little hint because we do so much, it's hard to
Sometimes
keep up.
It was windy, it was cold that morning, but it was a lot of fun. It was in Old Carrollwood Park, right?
Every kind of dog imaginable was there. Big ones, small ones, giant ones.
The rescue agencies were there, the adoption agencies. It was a really fun event. We saw Joey Donovan there, who was playing. And then we saw him later that night, the man who never sleeps. He's everywhere, Joey Donovan. We saw him that night at the Hard Rock Cafe.
Yes.
Watching our favorite band perform live.
Cuckoo-cuckoo.
So it was an action-packed weekend. Sunday,
fun,
I think we just took it easy.
That's great.
We did.
But these weekends, they come at us fast
And there's
and
always
furious.
something going on.
Always something going on. So that was Saturday. This weekend coming up, let me just tell you what's happening this weekend.
Something else going on.
Yeah, because it's not going to be any different than the last weekend or the weekend before. And we've got a little spot that we'll show you at the bottom of the hour. We'll remind you. Flavor of West Tampa. Flavor of West Tampa is taking place this Saturday. Steve, where is it going to be?
It's going to be at McFarland Park.
And what time?
It's going to be from 10 to 4.
Attaboy.
And we're going to be there. In fact, I'll be look for us at the Tampa Natives tent. And also, you're going to be on stage.
I'll be emceeing the event. I'm
gonna be
looking forward to it.
emceeing.
A privilege to be a part of this wonderful event again this year. They've asked me to be a part of it. Event Fest is going to be coordinating all the activities. If you don't know about Event Fest, they're the people that undertake that massive operation every January to coordinate all the activities dealing with the Gasparilla invasion. Okay, that's a big deal. So there's the graphic there. We want make sure to be there with us. There's going to be food trucks. In fact, let me just go through the list real quick.
You have the food trucks?
Real quick. I'll tell you the restaurants that are going to be there and the food trucks. Okay, let me go with Castillo's Cafe and Catering, El Gallo de Oro, Catering by the Family, La Teresita, Salon Libby's Montaros, Mr. Empanada, and Stadium Cafe are going to be there. Those are the restaurants. And the food trucks that are going to be present, Street Surfer, PJ Rick's, it's Latin and Italian food, Churro Land, and who doesn't like churros, Nick's Arepas Grill, arepas, tremendous. Arepas are very good.
what those
Well,
are.
I'll explain to you on Saturday. I'll buy you a couple because they're fabulous. Dochos, which is a taco, and Jamaican jerk, which is also very good. Fish and chicken. I love that. That's a neat name. Fish and chicken. Inside Scoop, which is Italian ice cream, and gelato, and so much more. 2 stages, a main stage and a community stage. Entertainment. Come by and see us. We're going to have a little table set up right next to the main stage, 10 to 4. Parking is free. Admission is free. Lots to do for the kids as well.
A lot going on.
The Tampa Bay Rays are going to be there.
Nice.
So come by and say hello to us. That's this coming Saturday. Proceeds go to the Judeo-Christian Health Clinic, who offers, and we've talked about this on the show before, who offers indigent care, free care, services, medical services, dental, pharmacy services to people that don't have insurance. So this is wonderful, wonderful stuff that they're doing, and we expect it to be as big as ever in the last 5 years. So see you on Saturday.
That means I can order some arroz blanco con huevos fritos.
You probably
Saturday.
can.
Yeah.
You probably can.
I'm going to have that.
Stevie, tonight's show again. Pets?
Pet
shops.
shops and your Tampa Native pets.
There you go.
Yeah.
So why don't we go ahead and do this, Stevie, like we do sometimes here on the Tampa Native Show to get things going. We'll prime the pump a little bit.
Okay.
Stevie, you want to start this off? Start this hit parade off. Tell us a little bit about growing up in Tampa with your family pets, what pets you had, your favorite pets your dad didn't care for. Go ahead. Tell us all this.
Absolutely. I'd be happy to. Well, for myself and my sisters, my father, he never really allowed us to have dogs because he didn't want them digging up the yard, so that was the main concern. So, but I think he felt guilty about that. So what he did is he let us have every other animal under the sun you can imagine. I mean, I had I had hamsters, I had birds, I had rabbits, I had a chicken even, believe it or not, that I love this chicken. It was for an Easter gift. I had iguanas, lizards. I think it all started with the ant farm when I was real little, and then I progressed from there to like a child animal trapper. All my neighbors, this is living over behind Jesuit on Lincoln.
You were the child animal.
I was
Yeah,
the
he was
animal
the
trapper.
trapper.
Yeah,
Trapper Steve
all my
MD.
neighbors would call
Trapper
our house and say, "Hey, there's a lizard in my house. Can you get it?" They would
Oh,
call my mother and say, "Hey,
well,
can you send
you
Steve?
came in handy
Send
then.
Steve over to get this roach out of my house
That's
or get this
great.
mouse out of my house."
Nice.
Very nice.
So I was like the little
Did you get paid for it?
Steve Irwin of the day.
Yeah, you
might say,
were.
but not crocodiles, But yeah, I've had every animal that you can possibly think of. In fact, Becky, if you don't mind, let's bring up picture number 5 and 6 and 7,
5, 6, and 7.
and we'll show everybody what I'm talking about. This is an example. The rabbit, Jack. We had 2 rabbits actually, Jack and Jill. And
Where did they stay?
well, we had a little pen built outside in the backyard, right behind the wall, so it wasn't like during the cold months. It wasn't too cold. And the next picture is picture 6, and this is another example of hamsters were popular. I had
That one
gerbils.
looks like he's doing a dance.
Yeah, well, this is
That was the hamster dance.
this was actually the stupid pet tricks, before Dave Letterman actually. And but anyway, just always been an animal lover.
Yeah.
And again, I really think it was because of the fact that we didn't have dogs. My father let us have everything else.
Yeah.
We mainly had cats growing up. But my favorite place to go to as a kid, and all the neighborhood kids would do the same thing, was Fish World on Armenia, right across from Oak Grove Junior High School. And of course, next picture, Becky, as well, number 7. You'll see what I'm talking about here. The fish aquarium. We all had fish aquariums in our neighborhood, all the boys. And here's an example. We would
That's a
spend,
large fish.
That's an Oscar actually. I bought it at Fish World on Armenia, right across from Oak Grove.
They were popular back
Oh, very
I guess
popular.
they still are then.
And that's a red Oscar actually. It was.
Yeah.
I got it for 99 cents. It
Wow.
grew to be that big. And then a couple years later, I needed money for the Florida State Fair, and I sold it for $20 back to Fish World.
Really?
And I went to the Florida State Fair with the $20.
Way to
There
go,
you go.
Steve.
But then I regretted doing that the next day.
Of course you did.
And below that is a couple white mice that I had as well. So I grew up with animals.
Yeah.
Later on, I got a dog, and we'll show a little video of that in my current cat that I have now. So what about y'all?
Becky, you go next.
Well, I have had many cats. My mother told me as a child not to feed the cats because they would stay at your house if that happened. So of course, that's the first thing I did was feed the cats because I loved cats. We had dogs. We also had a chicken named Henry that used to sit on my brother's
beautiful.
shoulder and watch television. And we had rabbits. We got 3 rabbits for Easter one year, and we put them in, we didn't know, my dad, he put them in the garage, and they ate the rubber tires off of the lawnmower, and then somehow those rabbits just weren't around anymore after that.
That's what a coincidence.
But I've always loved animals. I'm a huge animal lover. And Mario and I rescue many things.
Do you want to show the pictures of the rescue kitties that we have currently?
Sure.
Yeah.
Call up that picture, Steve.
Picture number. Well, let's start with picture number 3, Becky, if you don't mind.
Here we go. Picture number 3 is probably, if it's the picture that I'm thinking of, it's probably the ones. There they go. Darling, talk about that.
That is Little Mama, is what I've called her, and that's all of her 5 the most beautiful kittens you could imagine, and she brought them to our porch, and now they're in our house. We have a cat room. We have cat therapy every night. We lay down and they all lay on us and purr, and it's amazing. But we'd like to share those. If someone would like a beautiful kitten, we would like to share those kittens.
They're available.
They're very sweet, and they are available, yes.
And do we have one? Well, there you go, darling. Talk about this
Yeah.
special
that's
animal.
my Noe dog. I got him from the pound in Grand Prairie, Texas. And he was my best friend and guardian for many years, and he's passed away now.
Beautiful dog.
Sweet animal.
And Becky, let's back up to picture 1 and 2 when you get a chance as well.
And we've got, what's picture 1, Stevie?
These are some more of your mini.
Oh,
of course,
mini.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Picture 1 and 2.
Little mini.
And do we have also, I want to make sure that we have the picture that we sent you from the Balujas earlier. Do we have that?
We do have that. That's near
Good,
the end.
good.
That's
Good,
Minnie
good.
and Peeps. Minnie's the gray cat. Peeps is the orange tabby, and they love each other.
And that's the brother and sister act that we have currently.
Yes.
Oh,
That's adorable photo.
Yeah.
beautiful.
And number 2.
Also 2 feral rescues.
Yeah. Oh, and that's my, actually that was Alex's cat. Oh, my husband just pulled my earpiece right out of my...
Sorry, darling.
It's okay. That was his name was MC, Mookie Cecil, and that was in Texas. And that was Alex's cat. And I put a Christmas hat on him just because I like to do silly stuff like that.
And he was adorable, and he let us
He
put
was
that cat.
adorable, and he was a great cat. We also had another cat. She was black and white, and her name was Sophie. And they were brother and sister, actually, from the same litter.
Must
They
have been
loved
very,
each other, too.
very laid
Yeah.
back. Yeah.
And I'll go next, and I can tell you that we too didn't have any animals at our home, but my grandmother was very wonderful, and she allowed me to have animals there. So we had a couple of dogs there. I remember the first dog that she had was a big black. I think it was sort of a shepherd-ish looking, kind of a mixed breed dog. And I remember I was real little, and the dog was real big at the time because I was little. And we used to play, and the dog knocked me over one day, and I got up and I told him in Spanish, Blackie, ¿por qué me tumbiste? Yo te quiero tanto. And I, crying, I guess, through my tears, and it's just pitiful because I was asking him, Blackie, I love you so much. Why did you knock me down? But that was Blackie, and then we had Snowflake, which was a white cat, all white cat, lived outside. It was a feral cat. My grandmother also had parakeets. Parakeets were also very popular back then. I didn't know anybody that had any big birds, exotic birds like the macaques or the cockatiels or cockatoos, but parakeets were small, so you could always have them in the cage, and we had those. So animals were a big part of our lives. We want to encourage you now to pick up your phones and call us and tell us your stories of your pets growing up in Tampa.
Anyone have
And
any
your pet
unusual
shops.
pets?
And your pet shops
Your
as
favorite
well.
pet shop
So
you went to,
813-977-6800, 813-977-6800. I'm going to follow these cameras around.
I bet there is somebody out there with an unusual
Yeah, there's 2
pet.
3 shots here. Stevie, have you noticed that? There's 2
Yes,
3 shots. There's a 1 3 shot, and then there's a 1 3 shot.
just realized that.
And I'm looking here, and then I'm
It's
looking
always
there.
fun on the Tampa
Oh
Native
my
Show.
goodness, live TV. All right, we've got to go to our caller on line 4 because
do.
they've been patiently waiting. I'm sorry I ripped that out of your ear, darling.
I'm sorry, too.
Yeah,
It's okay.
I was trying to move it away from your back, and I pulled too
It's okay.
hard on that. Okay, main 3 shot. Let's go to our phone, 813-977-6800. Operators are standing by. Crystal is standing by to take your call right now.
is.
Caller, thank you so much for being patient. You're on the air with the Tampa Native Show. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
My name is Augustine Fraga, and I'm calling from Sefner right now.
All right, very
Great.
good, very good. You said Agustin?
Agustin Fraga.
Very good, Agustin. Let me ask you, because the name is familiar to me
new name.
from Facebook, but have you called the Tampa Native Show before?
No, I haven't, but I was following y'all on Facebook.
Very good. Everybody that calls the show,
Welcome
first-time
into the
callers,
show.
gets a bell rung, and we just rang your bell, Agustin. Now, in keeping with the show topic tonight, what say you about family pets or pet stores?
Well, situation I grew up in Ybor City. My father had a store there, so it was kind of difficult to have a pet.
Ybor City, sure.
Yeah.
And my father also had a wholesale business. So Lou Pinella would buy cigars from my father all the time. And he asked me if I wanted a pet. And being a small boy, 7 years old, I said, yes, sure. And the next day he came over and gave me a solid white German Shepherd.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
I love shepherds.
Now this was a small puppy.
Sure.
And it's perfect for me and everything. And I was real happy. And say being a boy, you keep it close to you and everything
Sure.
else. Well, unfortunately, about 2 days later, I stepped on its neck.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Terrible.
And I cried like I never cried before in my life.
I can't
I can
imagine.
imagine that.
Yeah.
Oh.
And needless to say, I never got another pet.
Yeah.
Agustin, I would like to give that 7-year-old boy a hug right now.
I
If I could
know.
go back in time,
Really?
that's almost the
That's
saddest
sad.
tale
That's
ever.
Sad.
Yeah, but the thing is that afterwards, as I grew up, I ended up raising pets and actually had my own kennel when I was in the Army.
Oh,
Good for
great.
you.
So there you go. Happy ending to that
Yeah,
Right.
that's nice.
early tragedy.
Yeah.
But wow. And then Lou Pinella. What a great story.
I know.
We had Lou on the show in the very, very first season that we did the Tampa Native Show.
2010.
And yeah, in 2010. I can't believe it's been 2010.
hard to believe.
I was thinking we know for a fact that he has been very fond of, and I think it's because of his wife primarily, the breed Lhasa Apso.
Right.
Lhasa Apso, easy for me to say.
Yeah.
Yes, and he's had them all along, and he still has them even to this day. So we know Big Lou Piniella is also an animal lover, and
He's got
it
a soft
surprises
heart.
no one that he would
Yeah.
have gifted you that wonderful animal.
Yeah. So we now have a Jack Russell mixed with a Chihuahua.
Oh, that's a lot of
Hyperactivity.
energy.
Hyperactivity.
No comment.
Yeah, no comment, exactly. Yeah, well, listen.
That's a great mix.
We so appreciate you calling. You know, we have been kind of following you around. We'd like to sit and meet with you one day at your favorite West Tampa eatery. We'll travel into Ybor City or wherever you might be. Café con Leche, we love Café con Leche. We'd like to hear more about your father's store and about growing up in Ybor City.
We sure would.
And
So
Thank you so much for calling.
reach out to us, I would think, so we can meet up with you sometime soon. And listen, come see us this Saturday at the Flavor of West Tampa if you're available, 10 to 4 o'clock right there at McFarland Park.
I'll try.
Bolita,
Okay.
Bolita
Can
number.
we get your lucky Bolita drawing number from 1 to 75, your lucky number?
My lucky number's 7.
Seven.
Mickey
That's
Mantle.
mine.
Yep,
That's
we'll
mine.
take that number. Stay tuned to the end of the show because we're going to be giving away tonight. I should have mentioned this earlier. Mike Baluha's greatest hits. Mike Baluha is the gentleman that wrote and produced the song that you heard at the beginning of the show. This is his greatest hits. It's a compilation of his music, all songs having to do with Tampa, Ybor City, South Tampa. It's really, really wonderful CD. So we hope you win it. Stay till the end, and
You just might win.
We'll see you soon.
All right, God bless.
Thank you,
Thank you
Agustin.
very
Thanks for
much.
watching. Bye-bye now.
Take care.
That's great, man.
That's
we,
nice.
We are picking up viewers. We are picking up new viewers each and every week, and we appreciate you so much. You can't even imagine.
And as we know, first-time callers usually win.
Yes,
First-time
they do.
callers have a tendency to win
Very
on this Tampa
often.
Native Show.
Yep.
So here we go. We're off and running. 813-977-6800. If you'd like to get in on the conversation, we'd love to hear from you. Let's go to our caller on line 4, I believe it is. Line 5. Line 5. Caller, you're on the air with the Tampa Native Show. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
This is Rodney Justo calling from beautiful city of Lutz, Florida.
Rodney Justo.
He almost forgot where he was calling from.
know.
Hey, Rodney Justo from beautiful Lutz. How are you?
I'm just living a dream, Mario. Living a
know
dream.
We
You
know you
are.
are.
You
we,
really are.
We know you are, man. We know your travel schedule. We know what you do at the Hard Rock Cafe. Listen, that was a packed house last Saturday
That was
night.
a lot
and
of
you
fun.
guys were in rare
We
form.
don't play enough to get the following, like other bands get, but we
I think you do pretty good.
do all right. But, we just don't play very often.
Yeah.
We 10, 12 times a year. And
Yeah.
Hope for the best.
Yeah.
Well, and the best is usually the result. I got to be honest with you. You guys are experienced enough musicians, professional enough musicians that when you show up, especially after a little bit of a break, because it's kind of exciting to get the guys together. You haven't seen each
Yeah.
other in a couple of months.
That's true.
Bang, you put out a good performance with high energy. So
We rehearse like we play all the time. We rehearse almost every Wednesday. We're trying to learn something that make it more interesting.
sure. Well, we appreciate it, and we're some of your best fans too. So
Well, thank you. When I saw you last week, we were talking about pets, and you told me your show this week was going to be about pets. So I thought I would call in with the winning pet.
with
Yes.
the winning pet story, okay.
Let's hear that
All right.
story.
So if our fans are ready and
The
sitting
most
down,
obvious one. First, when I married my first wife, she had this German Shepherd that came along with part of the deal that tried to kill my father every time he came to see us.
Oh no.
I mean, it was he would bark, and it was a mess.
Oh man.
But other than that, I had a skunk.
what?
Oh.
Excuse me?
A skunk?
Yeah, my mother worked for an animal clinic, and I'm about, I don't want to mislead. I'm not a pet lover. I'm too selfish to have pets. but I had them, man. I had a skunk. We had a rabbit. When I was a kid, I had a goat.
Oh wow.
But the skunk was the one that really was the most interesting because I wouldn't tell people that I had one.
Oh
I don't blame
wow!
you.
Until they got to your house.
Surprise.
Exactly. I had one friend of mine who started running out the door when he saw the skunk.
Oh no.
Well, Rodney, I'm gonna ring the bell early in the show for you and your skunk story because really and truthfully, at 20 minutes after the hour, 25 minutes after the hour, I'm not sure that anybody's going to be able to top that. Now, I have it on good account because when we were talking on one of your breaks Saturday night, and we talked to your brother Brian, you didn't have any photographs because that's the first thing I asked you. It's an incredulous story. Nobody had a skunk. you got to have photographic evidence. And apparently you didn't have any. But I don't want you to fear because your Tampa Native Show fans
Came through.
We have taken
came
care
through.
of
We
that.
have found
Yes,
we have found unequivocal proof that you in fact did have a skunk. Let's go ahead and bring up that photograph now.
Picture
Oh,
11.
I'm not watching this.
Well, there you go. You got to get in front of your screen. Let's go ahead and drop that graphic, and there you go. Rodney, what do you think about that?
I can't see it because I want to have the delay on.
it has
Okay, well,
It has
hang
your
in there
skunk.
because the delay is going to pop up here in just a second. We want to make sure to get your reaction live and on TV.
Hold on, let me.
There you go. Walk over to the TV real quick because I'm sure by now it's up.
I'm going to fast forward it.
Okay.
Well, listen, don't you know the fans just loving watching this?
Of course, of course. Well, live TV, anything can happen, and usually does. And we'll give you a couple more seconds to locate. There you go.
He looks like
funny.
he's grabbing for something.
Is that amazing? Is that amazing?
That is pretty funny.
There you go. There you go, Rock. Well, that was
Pepe
just
Le
for you.
Pew. Just for you.
We just wanted to make sure that you, and look at him. He's actually
great.
right there. You
Yeah.
know, you trained him very well, Rock. You trained him well.
Ta-da.
And Rodney,
Look like Pepe Le Pew.
It is.
It is.
Rodney, when Mario told me the story of your pet skunk, I said, I don't know about that. I don't think that passes the smell test.
There you go.
Ba-dum-bum.
Stevie with a little smell test joke right there.
I can't tell you the guy's name but the guy he went to prison for murder, I think, or robbery.
Oh, wow.
He was in my house one time, and that skunk came running. You know, a skunk is not a pet. It doesn't come up to you and lick you.
Right.
I was going to ask you
All
about
that
that.
stuff. It just stays hidden all the time. Then once in a while, it runs across the room. And this guy
Like a ferret.
Just scare your friends.
saw the skunk, a skunk. And he tried to literally escape from my house to get it.
Out the door you go.
He thought he was going to get sprayed, probably.
So that's my skunk.
That's very funny.
That's a great
Great story. Thanks for
Yeah.
sharing with
That's
us, Rock.
awesome.
Give us your Lucky Bolita number because you might just win this compilation of greatest hits from Mike Beluha, and we sure hope you do.
39.
39 it is. Jack Benny. The numbers just correlate with things, and
Yeah.
39
Highlight
he was
players,
eternally
yeah.
39.
All right.
Rock, we love you. Thanks so much
Yes,
for calling.
we
We
do.
appreciate you following through.
All right, bye-bye.
Talk to you soon. Bye-bye. The great Rodney Justo, ladies and gentlemen.
What a
with
great
his
story.
Skunk story.
He's gonna have-
That's amazing.
First place.
Yeah, no,
I would
no.
think.
So, early lead.
I mean, there's always a chance somebody has.
Rodney
had
Justo
a
out to an
different
early
kind of
lead. Okay, we've got
weird
two
cut.
callers there, it looks like. Where do we go to next, guys? Make sure that you let us know which caller we need to pick up next because we got both lines blinking. Who's been holding the longest? All right, here we go. Let's pick up line 4. And we've got a caller on line 4. Caller, you're on the air. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Mario, Robert Gonzalez from West Tampa.
Hey, there he is,
Hello,
Robert
Robert.
Gonzalez from West Tampa. Needless to say, we're going to see you on Saturday at the Flavor of West Tampa.
I'll be there.
You know you will. And we've been missing your calls, but I know you sent us a little notification. I didn't tell you this, Steve, but Robert's so gracious. He watches our show every week. But for the last 3 weeks, he hadn't called.
Yeah, we were wondering about
Right,
that.
we were wondering, right?
Yeah.
Because we always wonder where
Right.
are our people. But he called me and said, Mario, I just want you to know I'm watching you. I'm not calling because I have nothing to add. Because I have nothing to add. But Robert, you do have something to add
That's funny.
tonight.
Tonight he does. That's great.
I all of my life I was raised with dogs. We have had dogs in my house all my entire life, and I remember one time back when I was in the 2nd grade. My father was delivering milk from Florida Dairy at that time, and he brought home a puppy. It was raining.
Oh.
He opened up his uniform shirt for Florida Dairy. He opened it up and stuck it inside his shirt and came inside. It was a mutt. It was a mixed breed. It was one of the best dogs we ever had. We
Yeah.
called it Tinkerbell.
Oh. Was it a little dog?
It was it grew up. It was like a medium-sized dog.
Yeah.
And
That's a cute name.
and
Great name.
she lived. I graduated. We got her when I was in 2nd grade. I graduated from high school about 2 years after I graduated, and we still had her. And she had. I let her go outside to do her business, and she just fell over on the ground.
Oh, that's
I
unusual.
I took her to the vet. We took our doctor to Dr. Avery down on Kennedy Boulevard.
That was our doctor.
Sure.
Yeah, and
small.
everybody
Yeah.
took the dog there.
Yeah, everybody was.
Yeah.
Tampa's very small.
And he had a heart attack. She had a heart attack.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and Dr. Avery came rushing out and tried to do CPR on her, but he said it was too late. She was gone. And I got in my car and I cried like
Of course, yeah.
it was like one of my blood rose, like my
Yes.
Of course.
Yeah.
They're family.
They're
Of course.
family.
They are family.
They are part
family.
of your family.
They're not just surrogate
Yeah.
family members. They are family members. Robert, you know, some people, some married couples, they, through no fault of their own, they can't have children, and some
Yeah.
choose not to have children, which is, you know, all well and good as well. But then they take pets, and those pets become the center of their lives, and rightfully so. And so, yes, you know, and the thing is that, you know, when live children, you have children.
Let's hope they're live.
Well, yeah, that sounded kind of funny. When you have children that are yours, you expect to outlive them, is what I meant to say.
Yes,
So,
yeah.
you know, that's just the natural progression of things. But when you have pets, you know that you're probably going to outlive them. So the joy at the beginning of their lives, when they're
Right.
puppies or kittens, is balanced out by
Yeah.
end-of-life decisions
Right.
because, you know, when you've got to put them down or when they just
Yeah.
die, it's just tragic.
It's hard.
You can't prepare for it, really and truthfully.
No.
Yeah.
But and it leaves a hole in your heart.
It sure
Typically,
does.
you go out and find another animal to kind of try to fill that heart, that hole in your heart. But
We had 2 cats and a dog. Now we have 2 cats and a Chihuahua. And Carrie tells me, when all these pets are gone, no more pets.
don't believe her. Don't believe her. Don't believe. No, I'm just telling you. You know, you'll say that early on, and then
Yeah.
the house will be too quiet, and you'll need somebody to sit
And
on the
a
couch.
pet will find you. They
Yeah.
will find you,
It
and they
happens
will
that way.
steal your heart. That's
Yep.
how it works.
Yep. Well, thanks for sharing, Robert. We appreciate that. Can we get your lucky number?
37.
37 it is,
is.
Mondra. So let me just say for the purposes of before we sign off, Robert, whilst your tale was rather tragic and somewhat sad, I gotta believe that the early returns are Agustin's story of stepping on the dog's neck
Yeah,
at 7
that's terrible.
is a little bit more tragic than yours.
Yeah.
And we're gonna make an appeal now to our Tampa Native Show fans that are calling in. No more tragic tales. No more tragic tales. I can't take much more of this. I gotta be honest with you.
Oh, I had a huge mixed breed German Shepherd, biggest dog I ever had. We called him Fang.
Fang?
That's a good name.
Yeah,
Phyllis Diller's husband.
Yes.
he was kind of a watchdog outside and stuff. Fang, and everybody that walked in the yard was terrified of him.
Sure, stay away from
Well,
Fang.
that's a good watchdog.
Actually, he was a very nice dog. But we had bottled gas and in our yard, and one time the gas guy from People's Gas at the time came and he was barking his head off, and then when he disconnected the gas from the tank, he shot Fang with gas.
Oh no.
No, Robert, they're just getting more tragic.
But they didn't do anything because it was a gas, but
Right.
Oh my gosh.
you know, and I got upset.
Of
Yes.
course.
Yeah.
I
I would
told
have
my
been a
mom,
little more than
mom
upset.
called up People's Gas and complained about it.
Good.
That's a great story, Robert. Listen, thanks so much for calling. We appreciate it. We've
right.
got you down for 37, and we will see you Saturday. Come look for us.
Yeah, we'll be there.
All right, Robert.
see you
Thank you so
Saturday.
much.
Hi, Carrie.
Bye-bye, Carrie. Thanks, Robert.
All right, so long.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Wow.
Yeah.
It was happy. It was sad. It was happy and sad.
Yeah.
Okay?
Good to hear from him again,
That's kind of
though.
how it
Yeah.
is with pets, though.
Okay, but I'm glad Robert called us tonight. Thank you, Robert, for looking
thank
in
you.
on us. And we knew we would shake you out with a pet story tonight.
We did.
All right, let's go to our caller on line 5. But we do have a line open if you'd like to get in on the conversation. Please call now. Darling, give him that number.
813-977-6800.
Look at that. Look at the
Wow.
the way things happen on the Tampa Native Show. Graphics appear mystically, magically.
amazing.
Fabulous.
It just flows.
Transitions of cameras, and sometimes we're actually looking at the right camera.
That's right, sometimes.
All right, let's go to caller on line 5. Caller, thank you so much for waiting, for holding. You're on the air with the Tampa Native Show. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Henry Cardoso, Orlando, Florida.
Hey,
All right now, Henry Cardoso. I previewed a little bit at the top of the show, talked about Henry Cardoso, and look at that. Here he is calling in. Henry,
That's
can I
great.
ask you real quick, is this the first time calling the show?
Yes, it is.
That's a bell.
Everybody gets a bell ring, and we just rang your bell on the Tampa Native Show. Henry, we're so thankful that you called. You and I talked a little bit earlier in the week. We've got some images that we're going to show in just a second, but you're kind of the highlight of the show tonight because
Wow.
yes, we set it up this way. Your mom and pop had a store. Give us a little bit of history, a little bit of background. Tell us what it was like growing up in Tampa with parents who owned, dad especially, who owned a pet store.
Okay, I will. Well, first of all, I'm glad to be on the show.
Thank you.
We're glad to have
Thank
you.
you.
Brought back a rush of memories.
Thank you.
So, actually, we moved here from New York in the mid-'50s. I was just 3 or 4 years old. And my dad opened up an aquarium store first on Platt Street in Hyde Park. And then a couple years later, we moved to West Tampa, over on Paddock, off Cypress by Don's Bakery. And they opened up Petland Pet Shop on what was then Grand Central Avenue. And growing up there in the pet store was, first of all, it was great, as you can imagine. Animals all the time.
Sure.
Cats. It was
Lots
a great
of love.
for all your friends to come hang out and see everybody. And it really encompassed my life from the time I was probably 6 or 7 years old to the time I was 20, 19, 20, around there. So
Your entire youth?
yeah, it was really. I mean, there was both sides of this. It was a lot of work.
Yeah.
Imagine a pet shop. It was very family run.
Sure.
Yeah.
Cousins, Frank Mario and George San Pedro, my sister Maggie, people like Harry Leto. There were like neighborhood kids who got jobs there just by hanging out there. And it was 24/7, 365. The animals had to be fed.
That's
taken
right.
care of
Yeah.
every day of the week. Whether it was Christmas or Thanksgiving, we still had to be there. But it was a very positive experience, and it
Yeah.
really taught me a lot of hard work ethics, and it was really nice. It was a good upbringing.
I bet it was.
Let me add to that, Henry, because I was one of those neighborhood kids growing up in the very same neighborhood, Broadmoor Park, as it were. That's the official name. The city platted our neighborhood with Harry Leto, and I echo those sentiments because as one of the neighborhood kids, and I mentioned this to you, I'll share it with our fans now. We used to ride our bike up to Petland all the time. We'd cross Lois Avenue. We'd come up to Kennedy Boulevard. On those hot summer afternoons, you're 11, 12 years old. You know, you're just killing time riding around. We would always go over to Petland right after going to Dan Good Sandwiches because we could go in there and sit in the air conditioning and get some little cups of ice water, and they'd never throw us out. We weren't bad kids. Then we'd take our bikes and we'd go all the way over to Petland. And the same thing, you had the same experience there. Hot getting over there, you're sweaty, but then you'd walk inside. And I wanted to ask you, Henry, because as I was kind of replaying this in my mind, tell me if I'm right or wrong or if I'm just imagining this. When you opened the door to go into your pop's store, was there a bell on the door that rang? Was there like the old time, you know, you'd push the door and there was a bell that either rang up top or he had like a little bell tied to the door handle to let you guys know that there was somebody there at the store?
Yes, there was.
Wow! Now look at the goosebumps.
There was a bell on the door.
There you go.
Also, a minor bird in a cage.
Yes!
Oh,
Would
you know
always
what?
talk. And he
I
talked
remember
clear
that.
people always thought that there was some kind of recording.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I want to be...
Real. Because his voice was so crystal clear.
Wow.
Henry, you gave me, look at that, they're still standing up on end because,
I remember the
you know,
monitor.
this is a long time ago, man. This is 40, 45 years ago. I'm
Yeah, it
56
was.
now. So I'm trying to remember back, but I remember distinctly the bell on the door. Now that you tell me the minor bird, I remember the minor
Yes,
bird distinctly.
yeah.
I also remember that your pop was a nice man. He never rushed us out of there. He was always hello, hello, and you know, and he was always watching out, but we were never disrespectful. And I also remember back then, it was just amazing to us as little 10-year-old kids that you could go in and you can see a live baby alligator. Not that it was alive and it was alive in the alligator, but they sold them.
Yeah.
Right. You
You
can buy 'em.
could buy an alligator at a pet store. That was the most
Caimans.
exotic
Come
thing
on.
ever.
Little caimans.
Yeah, little
Yes,
caimans. Come
yeah.
on, little caimans. And you know, if you'd go over to the tap on the
remember
glass,
that.
which you probably weren't supposed to do, it would sit there and open its mouth, and we would laugh like
All right.
Wow, can we show those pictures? Because we do have
We
some
do,
images.
actually, we do. It's,
Henry, stay with us for just a minute because we want you to see these images too. I know there's a little bit of a delay, but are you watching us as well?
I am, yes.
Okay, there's going to be a little bit of a delay, but if you'll go ahead and pick off of the picture.
It's 12 and 13 back
12 and 13. We'll just show 12 and then we'll show 13, which I believe
photos, by the way.
I believe 12 is the photo of the newspaper article. Yes,
It is,
There
it
it
is.
is. That's your dad outside in front of the store with a couple of neighborhood kids, I guess.
Yeah. That was actually and it has the date on the paper. As crazy as it sounds, it's probably one of the few pieces of memorabilia that I have from that period. And,
Oh, my.
and I travel a lot, and I made a special trip back to because I knew I had this, and I wanted to share it because it really means a lot to me to talk about these things with my dad because he really was a special guy. And this is April 2nd, 1961, Easter Sunday. And they ran this article because it was, Easter was always the little bunnies and the little chicks, and it was just a real busy time of the season for them in the holidays. So, yeah, it was, and actually, it eventually became a strip mall, but originally it was a freestanding building. It had a wall around the back and had big vats and tanks, and they kept animals in there. So it was almost like a little zoo.
Wow.
Had a big garage. And then eventually it developed into a full strip mall with a veterinarian and a bunch of other things.
Before we show the other
nice.
picture, which is an amazing photograph of the entire front of the store, let me ask you this.
Yep.
And because, Petland ultimately became Petland.
Right.
We're hoping.
Yeah, we were talking about that
hoping
earlier.
that your dad sold to the company and was able to pay for your college tuition that way, rather than you guys went kind of dark and went out of business, and then the name became available and they just took up the name. How did that work out?
Well, I'll tell you how exactly that happened. My dad, a lot happened at the end there. We all finished and went off to school. My mom became very ill. She had ovarian cancer.
Oh.
And my dad decided he was having heart issues. They decided to sell the business and move out. He did retain the name and rights to the name. And when Petland did come to Florida and want to use it, he did sell them the rights to that name.
There you go.
Good.
I'm not saying it was a lot of money or anything, but it did help him.
Yeah.
Well, of course.
Yeah, we were wondering about that.
But I will
talked
say
about
this, it would have been a lot more money had that happened today. Back then, those transactions
probably.
were,
Yeah.
done on a handshake and for a reasonable amount of money. But today, of course, you got to, talk about URLs or,
Right.
names,
Correct.
website names,
Domain names, everything else.
Domain names, that's
Oh.
what I was trying to say. And
Let's-
one more picture.
another
Let's
picture,
show
picture
this
number
last
12.
picture. Henry, this is going to be
great.
good. You're going to enjoy this too. And this is what brought back a flood of memories for me personally when I saw the actual storefront, because that's the one that I remember riding up to as a kid on my bicycle.
Yeah. It brought back a flood of memories to me because, if we really zoom in on the picture, you'll see that I'm wearing my West Tampa Little League hat.
No way. Go ahead and bring that picture up, guys.
Picture
I'm
13.
probably 9 years.
13. There it is.
Oh, yeah.
My mom is probably in her early 30s there, and she's been gone since 75.
Oh.
And that's my cousin Jorge. He was the youngest of my three cousins that came from Cuba in '59 when the takeover happened, and they grew up with us forever. So he actually lives in Orlando now also, and the other one is my sister Maggie. So, and she just retired and moved to Jacksonville, Fernandina Beach.
Wow. Well, we hope she's watching tonight, and if not, this show will be available up on our website by this weekend, Henry. So, please ask her to check out our website, TampaNativeShow.com, and by Saturday it'll be up there and available for her to watch, okay?
I will. I gave her a heads up, but I will want to mention this, that, through all of this, the one thing that came out of this, my youngest daughter is listening, and she's actually been a veterinarian's assistant and worked for veterinarians and been in the animal business her whole life because of this.
Oh, wonderful.
Great.
That's
So it has
great.
transcended generations.
Absolutely. And I want to tell everybody, all of our fans as well, that Henry would have been here with us in studio. We extended the invitation to come in and share the story with us. But due to obligations with business and travel, he was unable to be here. But graciously, he called up tonight, as he said he would, and shared his story, because his story, his family story, is quintessential and is the essence of what the theme of our show tonight, mom and pop pet stores.
Exactly.
It just happened that I was fortunate enough, so was Harry Leto and all the other kids in our neighborhood, that it was in our neighborhood. So just like Steve was talking about Fish World, Petland was that for us. So Henry, thank you
Henry.
so much for calling. You didn't know it then, but your parents offered up many hours and years, really, of joy to the kids in the neighborhood.
Lots
and
of kids,
thanks
yeah.
for doing the show with us tonight.
I appreciate that. That means a whole lot to me, man.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Great.
Listen, give us your lucky Bolita number between 1 and 75.
5.
5 it is, Joe DiMaggio. Gosh, Henry, we can't wait to meet you in person next time you're around. And listen, if you do happen to come back on Saturday, stop by McFarland Park. All your friends are going to be there, and that's going to be the flavor of West Tampa, 10 to 4 o'clock.
Hey, thanks a lot, guys.
Thank
You bet,
for
Henry. Thanks for calling.
And the pictures are great.
Thank you, Henry.
Awesome.
Bye-bye. Wow, that's the reason we do the Tampa Native Show, ladies and
know,
gentlemen.
And the reason
Love
I'm
those
kind of
moments.
here in the middle is because I need to tell everyone that we only have 15 minutes.
Look right into that camera.
Oh, excuse me. We changed cameras
Yeah.
again. It's the 15-minute mark.
Whew, have mercy. We've got a couple of videos to show. We got one video to show in particular.
That was a good call.
And that was the highlight.
That was amazing.
I'm going to ring the bell again because Henry made our night tonight with
He
that
sure
call.
did.
That was a great
So,
and the photos.
We should
Amazing.
and the photos. Thank you, Henry, for looking that up for us and sending it to us. So let's go ahead and go to, gosh, our next caller. When we come back, we'll show a quick video.
Sure.
Caller, you're on the air with the Tampa Native Show. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Hey, Mario, it's Philip Testa.
Hey, there he is. Hi,
Happy
PJ.
birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
One happy
On the
birthday
air.
plus one.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
But I got a great pet story for you.
Okay.
Hit it.
Okay.
Okay, back when I was 6 years old, I had a little white dog. I don't even remember what kind of dog it was. Not even sure of its name. I think it was Sandy. Mm-hmm. But anyway, it got out of the yard, and it took off, and we couldn't find it. Now, at that time, I lived across the street from my grandmother and grandfather's house, who I have 10 aunts and uncles that lived there.
Wow.
So all of them were looking for him. My mother and father were out there looking for the dog. And I ran in the house, picked up the phone, and back in those days, you would get an operator.
Right.
So I asked the operator for the mayor's office.
Oh, no, you didn't.
I did.
Oh, no.
Nick
Good
Nick
thinking.
Nucio.
back
Oh,
then.
wow.
Nick Nucio.
Remember the
Called
park
him up
benches?
crying like a baby.
Sure.
He sent 2 squad cars
Wow.
out to the house, and those guys found my dog.
Oh, wow.
Oh, what an amazing story.
That wouldn't happen now. Nowadays.
Messing with the government for 62 years, right?
That's funny. That's a great
That's
story.
a great story.
But back then,
yeah.
you had
awesome
him in your
story.
back pocket, PJ.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, back then. But that was the kind of town it was. Even you could pick up
Yeah.
the phone and call,
call
the
the
mayor's
mayor.
office and probably talk to him.
Did, and he actually responded.
That's
Oh, that's
wonderful.
great,
That's
great,
amazing.
It's a
great
wonderful
story.
story.
Hey, did
That's
you have a
awesome.
good birthday?
Yeah, I had a great birthday.
Good.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, we appreciate you. You know, we were singing your praises at the top of the show, and we mean it, and we
Yes,
love you. And
we do.
Give us your lucky number between 1 and 75.
I'm going to pass on that.
Are you?
Okay.
You sure you don't want Mike Maluha's greatest hits? Look at this face.
Rodney Justo's greatest hit?
No, Mike Maluha. These are all songs about Tampa. This is.
You'll love
Oh,
it.
then let me go at number 10.
There it is. 10.
Okay.
All right.
Hernandez.
Thanks, PJ.
Thank you so
for
much,
calling.
PJ. Thanks for calling and
Thanks
sharing
for
your story.
everything.
Keep up the good work, guys.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
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 Gosh, we got another caller waiting. Who's waiting next? Who's our next caller on The Price is Right? Listen, this has been a great show
It
thus
has
far.
been, yeah.
And we've got about 10 minutes to go. So we'll say if you've got one more quick call and you'd like to call us after we take this call, we've got a line open, 813-977-6800. After that, we'll shut it down so we can do a quick video and then do our bolita drawing. Caller, thank you for waiting. You're on the air with the Tampa Native Show. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Bruce in Tampa.
Hey,
There he is. That's Bruce, our friend Bruce
Krinsman.
Krinsman from Tampa, like we don't know who you are. All right, Bruce, come on, man. Hit us with that pet story.
I'll make it short and sweet. I
you
had a 3-legged dog named Tripod.
Oh,
That's a great name.
Unbelievable.
was
Do
he
it.
born that
Wait a
way?
minute, wait a minute. Do it again because I missed it. Say it again.
We had a 3-legged dog named Tripod.
There it is.
That's
That's a winner. That's winner, chicken dinner. I don't know what else
Winner
to say
every
about
time.
that.
Did you get him as a puppy with 3 legs?
We changed the name after it lost a leg
oh, okay.
cancer. I saw a comedian on Johnny Carson doing a whole routine about a 3-legged dog named Tripod.
Great.
Had
That's
a lot
great
of
name.
material.
What kind of
Oh,
dog?
yeah.
Sure. Do you remember the breed?
It was a mutt.
Yeah. They live the longest and they seem to
Yeah.
be the happiest.
And they're sweet.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
I
a
used to goof on the dog, but my mother thought I was tormenting the dog.
By doing what?
Found me be sitting in the front yard. I would go out the back door to the next block. I'd have a trench coat on, a hat, and I'd be walking up the block, and the dog would be just looking at this person coming up the
Strange.
block, and it was me, but I was in disguise,
Oh,
just to goof on the dog.
attaboy,
thing, poor
Bruce.
thing.
Attaboy. So in addition to Tripod not having a leg,
Family was sitting around, and right by the back door there was the drapes. So I went behind the drapes all the way down the wall, stuck my hand out to the china cabinet like we had something valuable in there, and I would take something out and I'd go behind the drapes to the door, and nobody would notice, but the dog would be just staring.
that's funny.
that's a good story.
Oh, man.
All right, your lucky number.
One.
One.
Oh, one.
Okay.
Different strategy.
Yeah, I think he's doing a different strategy. It's Ozzie Smith.
Nice
All right,
choice.
thank you so much,
Thanks
Bruce.
for your
We appreciate
story.
that story, and we'll never forget Tripod now.
No.
That's funny.
Thanks, Bruce.
Bye.
Bye-bye. All right, we'll go to one more caller because we hate to leave anybody standing by or
And everybody always loves
and
their
everybody
pets,
loves to
so
tell
we
their
need to
story. So
talk
who's
about
on?
our
Who's our next caller on this?
The Price is Right.
Here we go. Caller, you're on the air with the Tampa Native Show. Tell us your name and where you're calling from, and I have you in my notes. Go ahead, Edie.
Hey, Mario.
I've got it right here. The 8th annual West Tampa Women's Back to the 60s and 70s dance. Tell us all about that, and then tell us a pet story.
Well, we're going to have a great dance Saturday night. Go to Flavor of West Tampa and then come over and see us at Sons of Italy.
There you go.
Okay? What I was going to tell you was my boys, when they were probably 11 and 12, shared a bedroom and what I thought was a fort, which was between their two beds, a sheet spread out between their two beds. I walked by and I kept hearing this scratching noise, scratching, and I couldn't figure out what in the world is that. So I walked into the bedroom and I pulled the sheet back. They had taken the baby's wading pool and put it between the two beds, and they had a baby alligator.
Oh no!
I almost had a heart attack.
I don't blame you.
How big?
Long, Yeah, how long did they
It
have
was
it?
probably about maybe 2 feet long.
Oh wow,
my
that's
gosh.
big enough
That's
to
big
do
enough to hurt.
damage.
Yikes.
Swing that tail
I could
around.
have chomped on some
Pretty
toes.
good biting.
So it's like, I was going to kill him.
That's pretty good.
Great story. Okay, the skunk and the alligator now.
How old
They're
were
all
the
neck and
boys?
neck.
They're all pretty close to
How old were they when
How
they
old
got
were they?
there?
With 9 and 10?
Probably 11 and 12.
There you go. Wow.
That's funny.
Yeah. Like I said, I thought it was like
Good
a
practice,
fort,
Joe.
being boys.
Oh, yeah.
Sure, yeah, of course. No, not so much.
They were pulling one over on Mom.
Scratchy, the alligator.
Yeah, they were hiding the alligator from Mom.
That's nice.
What they were doing.
And what happened to it after that? Did you let them
I made
keep
them get it out of the house. I don't know what happened.
Took it over to
Yeah.
Petland and sold it to Petland. And
Well,
take our
Put it in
alligator.
a lake.
Another
maybe.
story, Petland. My son calls me a thunderstorm. Ma, come get us. So I drive down there and get them, throw the bicycles in the back of the truck. I'm coming home and I hear this bag making noise. I said, what is in that bag? Mice. Get out of my truck.
Oh no! They bought mice at Petland. With no place to keep them at home. We're just bringing them home.
Boys will be
They were
born.
doing that
they
on
had
purpose.
bought it for the snake that the neighbor had.
So they had an
ew.
ulterior motive. They were going to feed the snake. Well, they were thinking about the snake.
Yeah.
Good boys.
It was like, get out of my car.
Yeah.
And take your mice with you.
Take your mice with you.
Give us your lucky bolita number, Edie.
14, darling.
14 it is.
14
Thank
it
you. We'll see
is.
you Saturday.
All right, thanks.
Appreciate you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. That's
pretty.
great.
That's great, isn't it?
That's great. Listen, I wanted to mention to Henry also, we got about 5 minutes left. We're going to get to our bolita drawing now.
Okay.
We have a
mentioned-
two-minute video also, if we have time. We may not have time.
We may not have time
Yeah.
for the video, but if we don't have time for the video, I promise the video will be up on our website. 2-minute video. We got 5 minutes to go. I'll talk fast. Henry, I wanted to mention to you that if by chance on some night or some afternoon or some weekend when nobody was at the Petland, at the store, the pet store, your dad's pet store, and that minor bird started to speak in tongues or say some Spanish bad words, it wasn't the kids in the neighborhood who taught him. I just want you to know, we might have tried, but that was a smart minor bird. Also, again, just a reminder, 8th annual West Tampa Women's Back to the 60s, 70s dance. That's what Edie was just talking about. We will be at the Flavor of West Tampa. Do you want to show the video, Stevie?
We could do that. Yeah, we have time for
If
that.
we have time, it's about a 2-minute video.
No, that one's only 30 seconds.
30 seconds?
The one Mike Beluha did today?
All right, let's do that real quick.
Okay.
Yeah, do the audio spot that Mike Beluha produced for us
Right.
today.
Flavor of West
and,
Tampa.
Flavor of West Tampa. It's the 30-second spot rather than the 2-minute video. That's going to be up on our website and it'll be on our Facebook page if you have it. Here we go. Be sure to come see us this Saturday for the Flavor of West Tampa, November 8th, 10 to 4 p.m. at McFarland Park. There'll be lots of fun for friends, family, and for the kiddos. This year's event is brought to you by Jerry Ohm Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram.
West Tampa, West Tampa, West Tampa, West Tampa, West Tampa, West Tampa, West Tampa.
All right, terrific. Steve's got a couple of pictures that we must show. We're going to do a Bolita drawing.
This is Minnehaha Tropical Fish on South Del Mabry.
What's
Becky,
that number?
let's bring up picture number 14 and number 15.
14 and 15.
And we talked
right.
about tropical fish stores before. This is one of the
That was
most
a big
popular
one.
ones.
Yeah, it was.
Remember the right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Del Mabry.
This is the inside.
A very unique building.
130 South Del Mabry. And let's go to the next one and take a look. This one shows an actual picture of the teepee.
Yeah.
Oh,
Look at that.
everybody remembers that.
You know what stands out on that picture of me? The phone number. There's no area code in front
that's
of it.
right.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
872 was also South Tampa.
718.
876
Right,
and
right.
877. And that was, if I'm not mistaken, close to Der Wiener Schnitzel.
It was.
right,
Yep,
that's
right there.
Absolutely.
Two, and both buildings very unique. You can
Yeah,
see
they were.
both have a unique architecture,
were.
a unique style. Let me also say before we get out of here, thank you. Before we get out of here, that I've got to pitch a show that's coming up on the 20th. I want to say this because we've been trying to get this man on our show now for some
Long time.
We're going to petition to see if we can do a 90-minute show. That's going to be on the 20th of November. Please mark your calendars. It's 2 weeks from today, right?
Right,
20th
2 weeks
of
from
November.
today.
2 weeks from today. Please mark your calendar because, ladies and gentlemen, I'm very proud to announce, very happy to announce, that Jim Robocanti, the man who started it all here in the middle 70s, Robocanti's Disco, and Mr. R's Place before that is going to be live and in studio with us. Thank goodness he's going to be alive.
Yes.
And in studio with us on the
always a
20th to
plus.
take your calls.
That's gonna
so
be a
we
great
are going to
show.
be really, really
Yeah.
looking
He's
forward
got
to
great
that show.
stories.
Great
Yeah.
stories.
We got a lot of photos already.
He's been in South America
Amazing.
doing some business. He's back in town, and he's going to do our show. Darling, why don't you go ahead and get that, Stevie, get the numbers ready.
Okay.
Pick a good one and pick a
good
first-time
one.
winner, baby.
First
Come
time
on.
winner.
First-time winner.
Okay.
Closest to without going over.
Stevie?
The number is 37.
37. Oh, we have a dead ringer.
Oh my
Robert
gosh,
Gonzalez.
Robert Gonzalez, number 30.
Right on the nose.
There it is.
That's great. Does he win more?
Well,
for doing that?
he's going to win this CD.
Tell us what he's won,
of the
Johnny.
Greatest Hits by Mike Beluha. We'll bring that to you on Saturday, Robert, when we see you. Congratulations.
Yep.
Let me remind all of
Love
our
that.
viewers also here in Hillsborough County that last week's show with Andy Lalino, celebration of those early movies filmed here in Tampa, is going to be available immediately following this show on channel 949 Bright House and channel 36 Verizon and 20 on Comcast. So please, if you'd like to watch last week's show and you're here in Hillsborough County, tune in. Also, all of these shows are available on our website. The website is, Steve?
TampaNativeShow.com.
Wow, we've had a great time
That was
tonight.
fast.
Henry Cardoso, thanks for calling
Thank
in
you.
and making our show.
Lots
Thanks
of
to
good
everybody who
calls,
called
yeah.
in tonight. We really appreciate you. I just got to say, we do this show with love in our heart. We
We do.
can't wait to do
We do.
next week's show. Stay tuned. Look in on us on behalf of everybody that puts this show together. Tampa Steve, the 15-minute girl.
See you guys.
I'm Mario Nunez.
Salud.
Salud and
Happy
happy
days.
days. We love you, Tampa.
Yes, we do.
See you next week.
Bye-bye, everybody. See you Saturday.
Back when we were younger and everything seemed new, we used to have a lot of fun, yes we did, no matter what we do. Sleepy days, long summer nights, going anywhere we please, with love that I could call my own, love that I've always known, the city that I call my home, a home from which I never roam. This love affair was meant to be. I love her and she loves me. I remember Tampa, oh, she remembers me. She remembers me. I remember, yeah, yes I do. Oh, I remember, yeah, me and you. I'm a Tampa native, Tampa native, can't you see? I will share my story with you to preserve its history.
All right now, don't forget, Thursdays, 7 p.m. on TBCN, home of the Tampa Native Show.